Good. Alright guys, I didn't know if I was going to get upset, like angry, upset, or emotional. And the video just started, and I haven't even said anything to you and I'm already upset. Because this is near and dear to my heart. And the fact that people would call a man that gave us so much joy and laughter a coward for committing suicide is utterly ridiculous. And, you know, we all know his backstory, or think we know his backstory. If you're one of these ignorant people calling him a coward, then you need to stop for 2 seconds and go look up some information on the man. And enough with this generic bravado of tossing the word coward around. And I'm going to use a good example. Are you fat? Are you obese? Are you calling Robin Williams a coward? Because you might have your own issues. Do you smoke? Do you drink? Do you drink and you call Robin Williams a coward? Do you smoke and you call Robin Williams a coward? We're going to get into that. But real quickly, for the kids out there that are subscribed to my craziness, I'm tired of doing the crazy, stupid shit I do, because people think, I guess because I kind of can act, and I act so crazy that people think it's legitimate. And this means a lot to me. And so that's why I'm doing another video on it. And I don't think I'm going to do the stupid angry gamer shit anymore. I'm not going to contribute to that YouTube video game nonsense, even though I was making fun of it. I don't think I can do that anymore. I don't know. I want to be funny, but I don't want to be funny at the expense of people thinking I'm angry. And let me just say to the young people, I wrote notes down. If you're a young adult struggling with suicide and you come from a religious background and you have to hear shit like, if you kill yourself, you'll go to hell, go find outside support. Because what that is called is a religious scare tactic, and it does you no good. And if your parents are stupid enough to give you that sort of information, they're not helping you out, and you may still go kill yourself. If you have a parent that tells you suicide is the coward's way out, and that's just, once again, ignorant, bravado-spewing adults, tell them to go read a book. Okay? Do your parents drink? Do your parents smoke? Well, then you'll like this video. First off, let's talk about stress. Stress symptoms. They affect your body and your behavior. Stress symptoms may be affecting your health, even though you might not realize it. Common effects of stress. Stress can affect your body, your thoughts, your feelings, and your behavior. Being able to recognize common stress symptoms can give you a jump on maintaining them, and most importantly, keeping you alive. Common effects of stress on your body. Headache, muscle tension, pain, chest pain, fatigue, loss in sex drive, stomach upset, sleep issues. Anybody watching this that has any of those issues, those are brought on by stress. This man killed himself, and it was brought on by stress. Stress triggers your depression. I know that's hard for some people to believe, and you just want to label the guy a coward. So let's continue. If you're not ignorant enough that you'll actually stay with me and finish watching this video. Because some people are just so ignorant they can't go look this stuff up, and it's easily available for them. Effects of stress on your mind. Anxiety, restlessness, lack of motivation or focus, irritability, or anger. Does any of that sound familiar to you? Because that's stress. The same thing that killed this guy. On your mood, stress affects sadness and depression. That's what killed this guy. There's people that want to pop off and say he did all these drugs and he did all this and he did all that. Yes, and there's a reason. There's a reason for doing drugs, hence why you drink, or hence why you smoke. And we'll get into that. On your behavior, stress, overeating. Are you fat? Are you a fat bastard that's called Robin Williams a coward for killing himself? Well, you're a fat bastard because of stress. You're a fat bastard because you're weak and you overeat. So think about that when you want to point fingers at someone that's legitimately been nice to people and made us laugh. On your behavior, makes you have angry outbursts, like you may see in this video here pretty soon. Drug, alcohol abuse, tobacco use, social withdrawal. That's stress, and that's what it does for you. Now, I don't know if I want to get into the smoking and the alcohol yet, or if I want to get into some of my personal life. Well, we'll get into a little bit of my personal life. I have epilepsy. Let me tell you a little something about epilepsy and suicide. People with epilepsy are 3 times more likely to commit suicide than the general population. Depression is more common amongst people with epilepsy than the general population. So, of course, the ignorant masses would call Robin Williams a coward, because this is something that they do not have to deal with. Not that Robin may or may not have had epilepsy. I don't know that. But this is why I can speak from a first-hand basis on why you wouldn't call this guy a coward. And I made some other video about Robin, and I cursed at people and called them ignorant. I'm going to try to refrain. But I just want to kind of put a little educational information out there for somebody that might come across this video. Some people with a history of depression, for example, have been shown to have a higher risk of developing epilepsy. That's an interesting fun fact. Now, I always thought people that smoked were weak. That's my personal opinion. I always thought people that drank were weak. That's my personal opinion. I have epilepsy, so I never thought it was a good decision for me to do drugs. I've always liked to make people laugh. There's reasons why I like to make people laugh. This is one of the guys that made me enjoy laughter and made me want to make people laugh. There's also traumatic events that have happened in my life that may or may not make me want to make people laugh. Same thing with this guy. This guy had a dad who he didn't see very much. He had a younger mom who didn't give him any attention. And he had imaginary friends. I can relate to all that. And each one of his imaginary friends had different voices and characteristics. I love doing stuff like that. And I love doing stuff like that to make people laugh. He used to make his mother laugh. I don't know what his relationship with his mom, from what I understand, with his mom and his father, he didn't have such a fantastic relationship. And I did not have a fantastic relationship with my mother. Go figure. And I feel, and this is not to throw my mom under the bus in case she sees this, this is just the truth. And this is the truth to help other people, and maybe to shut some ignorant people up. I feel I was mentally abused by my mom. And yet at the same time, I have epilepsy. So you take epilepsy, which increases your rate of suicide. You take mental abuse, which is going to stress you out and increase your risk of suicide. And then you throw a little child molestation in there, and that's going to fuck you up too. So one day you're at the house and you're every bit of 16 and a half years old, and you decide to stick a gun in your mouth. And you're going to kill yourself. Yet you don't know why you're going to kill yourself. And your dog walks up the stairs and licks your face, and you start to cry. And the dog actually saves your life because you think, if I kill myself, who's going to take care of my dog? My dog that I love. And then you know what happens? As a man, as an adult, you end up loving animals. I love animals so much. Why do I love animals so much? Why do I love dogs so much? Probably because a dog saved my life. I'm intelligent enough to figure that out. When I was younger, I saw my mom get beat with a 9-iron golf club. That was a traumatic event. Good thing is, you know what I don't do? I don't beat women. But I did realize something the other day, and my girlfriend's filming this right now, and I'm throwing myself under the bus. You know what I do notice? When I roughhouse with my girlfriend, I get aroused. Isn't that kind of fucked up? I wonder if it's because that traumatic event that happened in my life. My mother wears glasses. My girlfriend wears glasses. I find women that wear glasses attractive. Now, how fucked up is that? But, once again, I'm throwing myself under the bus. And why? Because I'm doing it for this guy. This guy I don't even know. Because I'm sick and tired of having to listen to people call Robin Williams a coward and selfish. Because depression does not know your family members. Depression is like getting in a car with an alcoholic, with someone that's drunk, and they're driving, and you're asking them, hey, can I get out and just say goodbye to my family before you kill the both of us? And the drunk driver's not listening. He just keeps going. He doesn't give a shit. That is what depression is like. Depression does not make you weak. Because let me tell you something. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. On occasion, I've smoked a cigar just to smoke a cigar. On occasion, I've had a margarita because I like the taste of them at a Mexican restaurant, or a mojito. But I do not drink. I might have 1 or 2 drinks a year. So with that said, why do we drink? Why do we smoke? Well, let's get into that. And we can get back into how screwed up I am as an individual. Smoking. Many people claim that smoking helps when they cope with stress. Isn't that interesting? You smoke because you're coping with your stress. But in fact, nicotine is a stimulant and doesn't really help you. Smokers think cigarettes make them feel better because when they aren't smoking, they suffer from nicotine withdrawal, which would be an addiction. An addiction! Isn't that interesting? Robin Williams had addictions. If you smoke and you're calling Robin Williams a coward, you have addictions. You have addictions. Your addictions never got to the level of his addictions. Why? Because you have a shit job. That's why. Because you're nowhere near the level of status that this man was at. So imagine the amount of pressure. Just amp up your pressure. I'm at work. I've got to listen to some dumbass that works in retail about, oh, he had it all and he killed himself. Yeah. And think of the amount of pressure. If I was a manager, I stepped down because the pressure was getting to me. I put myself back into that pressure. I stress myself out. It bothers me. I get depressed. It's a vicious cycle. So I become a manager. I make more money. I become a higher paid manager. I make more money, more stress. The level that we go higher, the more stress that is put upon us. Some people can handle stress, some people can't. This guy, you could say, well, he didn't have to do what he had to do. Okay, let's say he wants to work at Burger King. He has 2 alimonies that he has to pay. Alimonies. It doesn't matter if this guy's making $8 an hour because he has to pay alimonies. And if he can't pay his alimonies, he goes to jail. So he has to do things he doesn't necessarily want to do to make money. That's called stress. Stress leads to depression. Let's go back to your smoking problem. Why'd you start smoking? Because of peer pressure. You were awkward. There's awkward years. You're a teen. You're dependent on your parents. And because of insecurities and frustration, you give in to smoking because of insecurities. Couldn't we use the term coward in place for peer pressure? That's why you started smoking, because you were a coward. You might be sitting there smoking a cigarette right now. Getting on the computer, wasting your life, nothing better to do than get in the YouTube forums and call Robin Williams a coward. Social rewards. It's another reason you started smoking. AKA group activity. AKA acceptance. Bonding. Bonding at work. You go outside, you smoke a cigarette with your peers for a quick cigarette break. Social rewards. It's perceived as risk-taking. Look at me. I'm pushing the limit in the social circles of acceptance. I'm a coward. I'm not weak. I'm not a coward. Smoking a cigarette with my friends. Parental influence. Children of active smokers are more likely to start smoking. So in some form or fashion, your parents were weak and had an addiction. And you grew up with that same weak-ass addiction. Yet you call Robin Williams a coward. Genetics, aka bad genes. And here's the most important part. Bad genes can make you an addict towards drugs, alcohol, tobacco. So wouldn't that make you weak or broken? A coward in some form or fashion? If you could have a genetic addiction, why could you not be born with a damaged mind? Like me, I was born with a damaged mind. I have epilepsy. My damaged mind tells me to kill myself. Hasn't told me that in about 3 years, but every so often it creeps up and I have to deal with it. So, if you can be born with a genetic addiction, and I can be born with epilepsy, why can you not be born with problems that make you want to kill yourself? Why can you not be born with that depression? If my epilepsy makes me 3 times higher to commit suicide, hell, if it makes me 1 time higher to want to commit suicide, why can't other people be born with depression so bad that this is what happens? Why do you smoke? Self-medication. Smokers who are addicted to tobacco report a range of positive sensations that come from smoking cigarettes. Smoking a cigarette for this guy wasn't going to help him. Smoking a cigarette for me isn't going to help me, and I didn't want to find out if it was going to help me. I'm 3 times higher to commit suicide. I doubt smoking is going to help me. So you know what I do? I go to the gym. I try to find a positive outlet. I make people laugh. That's what I do. I like to be the joker at work, the joker with my girlfriend, the joker with my friends. I'm also pretty belligerent, and I'll explain more of that why. Isn't that why people get hooked on drugs and become alcoholics? To self-medicate? To self-medicate their demons? But yet you call Robin Williams a coward. Meanwhile, while you self-medicate. People smoke because of stress relief. Stress. Stress triggers depression. So if you're not suffering from a severe mental illness, aka depression, cigarettes may still be a form of self-medication. Soldiers on the battlefield started smoking to deal with wartime stress. Were they cowards? Tobacco becomes a psychological and chemical crutch. And at any tense, stressful situation, sends you instinctively looking for a cigarette so you can self-medicate. So doesn't that make you a coward? And if it doesn't, why is Robin Williams a coward? Drinking alcohol. You like to drink? Because I don't drink. Yet I have epilepsy. Yet I want to kill myself. Yet you call this man a coward who does kill himself. Yet I was born with a form of brain damage. I'll let you in on something. I haven't let this in on to any of my subscribers on my YouTube page. A lot of people think I'm younger. Some people don't. Whatever. I'm 40 years old. I've survived for 40 years. I have epilepsy. I have depression. I tried to commit suicide when I was 21. Not just when I was like 16 and a half years old and stuck that gun in my mouth. And we'll get to that. Actually, we'll get to that right now, and then we'll talk about alcohol. Because apparently, you don't understand depression, and that's why you call this man a coward. And you say, oh, he was selfish, he didn't think about his friends and his family. Let me tell you something. I was in an apartment. My friend had come over that night to spend the night, and I went out and I got 2 bottles of sleeping pills. I drank like a 6-pack of Zima. I took 2 bottles of sleeping pills. I bought the sleeping pills from 2 different grocery stores so nobody would understand what I was doing. And I tried to kill myself. And I don't know why. But I can only assume why. And that is, now that I'm older, and I've figured out issues that I have, and some people don't have time to figure out issues that they have, is I have epilepsy. And I have something that tells me to kill myself. But at that same time, when I was 21 years old, I felt worthless. Lost one of my jobs, and I felt worthless. Why did I feel worthless? Maybe because my mother always made me feel worthless. Even though she made me a strong individual, the problem is she also screwed me up and made me feel like a worthless individual. And so anytime anything stressful occurs and happens bad in my life, there's the demons. They arise, whether I want them to or not. And I am not a coward. I'm still here. I'm 40 years old. And I'm not a coward. And for you to call this man a coward that's probably achieved more things than you will ever achieve is ridiculous. He stood up in front of thousands of people to make people laugh. And you call this guy a coward. The fact that I'm throwing myself under the bus and putting myself on social media and telling you all my problems right here does definitely not make me a coward. But so I tried to kill myself because I felt worthless. Why did I feel worthless? I don't know. Losing a job, being a male, knowing I'm supposed to have a job, society says I'm supposed to have a job, all kinds of different things. They end up telling you you feel worthless. And so I ended up trying to kill myself. I woke up in the middle of the night and threw up, and that's what saved my life. I called into work, couldn't get a hold of them. I drove to work, told them I felt like shit. They said, you look like shit, go home. So I came home. It wasn't until I got home, which I don't even know how the hell I drove up there and drove back, but when I got home, I realized, oh shit, I tried to kill myself. And at that point, it made me a stronger person. And I'm not advocating that you try to kill yourself and live through it. But what happened was, it ended up being a fantastic experience for me. Because society made me feel bad. My mother made me feel bad. My epilepsy made me feel bad. And I was a weak individual because of it. When I didn't kill myself and I actually survived, I joined the gym, I did something productive, and tried to be a positive person. And so what happened was, it made me realize that people are ignorant in our society. And I shouldn't kill myself because of ignorant people's actions in our society. And basically, screw society. Why should I kill myself over other people? I should just say, fuck other people. Now that may not be the right attitude for you, but it's the right attitude that worked for me. So with that said, alcohol. You drink alcohol. Alcohol consumption is a stress reduction. I've never turned to that, and I have epilepsy. Alcohol is seen in many ways to alleviate stress. Alcohol is a way to self-medicate. Alcohol can ease the pain, physical pain, and emotional pain. Yet, I've never been weak enough to drink and smoke. Alcohol is used in social gatherings. And there is no doubt that loneliness can serve as an incentive for alcohol use and alcohol abuse. And I saw my mom get the shit beat out of her with a 9-iron golf club by an alcoholic. Maybe that's another reason I never became a coward and started drinking. This guy you call a coward. Robin Williams is arguably one of the most funniest men in the world. And he turned to alcohol. And you call him a coward, yet you drink. Isn't that interesting? Isolation can be another reason to use alcohol for people who have poor support networks. Robin turned to alcohol, turned to coke, turned to all kinds of things. Why? Because it made him feel better. Why? Because he was clearly dealing with depression. So, you smoke, you drink. What do you call that person? A weak coward? I'm just wondering. Let's talk about antidepressants. While antidepressants are quite effective, which I do not use, so I've had to battle my demons cold turkey, without your alcohol, without your cigarettes, without any kind of illegal substances, aka drugs. And I haven't used antidepressants, and here's why. While antidepressants are quite effective at relieving depression, it is possible that some patients, particularly young people, may feel worse. The FDA issued what is known as a black box warning, stating that antidepressants could increase suicidal thoughts. There is a pharmaceutical stranglehold on Washington, and you're going to trust antidepressants. We should feel safe taking antidepressants seriously. How about we just call Robin Williams a coward? A man who was 63 years old, who was clearly stressed because of financial reasons, because he had to pay 2 alimonies, and he made us laugh. I love making people laugh, but unlike Robin, I don't mind shaking it up a bit and telling you when you're wrong. And you're wrong. This man's not a coward. He's not a coward. There was pain that no amount of drugs, no amount of giving to other people could make that pain go away. And so when I see Robin has taken his life at 63, it saddens me. Because I see that in my future, even with my girlfriend standing here and recording this video for me. I see that as my future. I don't want that future. And I've done very well being positive and but we like to put labels on people because labels make us feel better. So it's easy to label Robin Williams a coward because you perceive yourself as doing that kind of action as cowardly. This guy could have went and worked at McDonald's. He could have shoveled shit. And you know what would have happened? He probably would have got his ass thrown in jail because he has to pay alimonies that he cannot afford. And he was a funny guy. I think I'm a funny guy. But I grew up with issues. I'm sure Robin grew up with issues, even though he had his mom and dad. People weren't around. My mom had been married 3 times. I've been in 2 drug rehabilitation centers even though I was not on drugs. So maybe that's also helped make me a strong person because I got to see how fucked up everybody is that smokes and drinks and does drugs. And so it kept me away from that. My mom was a tough bird. Made me kind of a tough bird. But like I said, once I tried to commit suicide and I didn't die, it kind of opened my eyes and made me a little bit of a different person. Many, many years after that, I didn't think about suicide. But later on, when I was in my mid-30s and I lost my job, I wanted to kill myself. At one point, I had lost a girlfriend and I wanted to kill myself. And I didn't understand why. And as not killing myself, as being alive and not dead and getting older, I've been able to realize that stress triggers that depression. Stress and epilepsy for me and depression, that shit doesn't mix. I stepped down from a position that I had that I enjoyed. I could move up in the company that I'm at, but I know I cannot handle stress. And if you can handle stress and you don't have to deal with depression, then fantastic for you. But some people are born or develop traumatic events in their brain that lead them down the path that Robin Williams went to. And I don't want to go down that path, but I still see that path in my future, and that bothers me. And so it bothers me a lot when I have to listen to people just spout off their ignorant opinion about this man being a coward. Telling your kid, well, if you commit suicide, you go to hell. Like that's going to keep your kid from killing himself.